We just closed out a 12-race card for Louisiana Derby Day. A lot of excitement, some big upsets, and Tiztastic got 100 points for the win in that TwinSpires.com Louisiana Derby. It's kind of surprising, James. What were your thoughts on his trip and his performance overall?
Yeah, it was a little bit surprising. I just thought he took a huge step forward. We were down here last month for the Risen Star, and we saw Magnitude take an enormous step forward at 43-1, win that race convincingly. He exited the race with an ankle chip and is out of the Triple Crown this spring. But, his stablemate, Tiztastic, who had run either second, third, or fifth in his previous attempts on dirt and rode to the Kentucky Derby Challenge Series events, and just really I thought it was a significant move forward. He improved, and what really was noticeable was that the track sort of played forward. It favored horses with some speed. Really a strong move from off the pace, launched his bid on the far turn, still had some work to do in upper stretch, and just kept it going and won pretty powerfully. I thought that he's got something going for him off the victory.
We saw him win the Juvenile Mile at Kentucky Downs on the turf. His first two wins came on the turf, and then he placed in 3 Kentucky Derby prep races, came out of a 5th place in the Rebel. So was kind of wondering if maybe he was better on turf, but I think now he answered that question today, getting the win at a mile and 3/16.
Yeah, I mean, he's the kind of horse where if he hadn't made the Kentucky Derby field, the Grade 1 the turf race for 3-year-olds would have been an option for him. But, he proved it today. The main track is his surface for now. I think he could always come back to the turf if it didn't work out this spring and summer. But, they have the connection. Steve Asmussen and the owners have every reason to be optimistic moving forward off of this performance.
No, it was no surprise that Good Cheer got the win in the Grade 2 Fairgrounds Oaks and is now unbeaten from 6 starts. James, I think you had Good Cheer to win. I had Good Cheer to win. We all had Good Cheer to win, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and there's another. I thought that Louise Sayas did a really good job getting her involved early. I mean, she's a dedicated confirmed closer, and that pace was slow once again in the Fairgrounds Oaks. But he launched her. He really rode her hard, I thought, on the far turn to essentially draw even by the top of the stretch, and then just put them away in the lane. The competition just doesn't seem that deep in the 3-year-old filly division, and right now she's she's the horse. I mean, she's like the superior presence in that division. Maybe it will change moving forward, but she's going to be awfully formidable in the Kentucky Oaks.
Her rider, Louise Sayas, after the race said he doesn't even really get nervous riding Good Cheer. He's just very confident in that filly. One of the best, maybe the best he's ever ridden before in his career. And James, we had a couple of big upsets in other Grade 2 races. The Muniz Memorial with I'd Rather Be Blessed and 81-1, or I'm not sure what the price was. It was something in the 80s. And then we also had Touch Upon a Star, who beat Sierra Leone, our Breeders' Cup Classic winner last year. Touch Upon a Star went to the front and was able to hold on at a mile and 1/8.
Yeah, those were both front-running upsets. Touch Upon a Star was already a millionaire coming in there. He's a 6-year-old gelding by Star Guitar, Louisiana bred, so he'd won a lot of Louisiana bred stakes. But he had been second in the New Orleans last year. He had placed in 2 other open stakes since then, so he needed to take a big step forward, and he did. I thought maybe leaving the far turn, that the Hall of Fame, who was chasing him in second, could reel him in. But Touch Upon a Star had another gear and just, won pretty handily in the end. So really nice performance. Disappointing, of course, for Sierra Leone. We talked about it in the paddock preview. If you're a late runner, you needed to be in full stride, I thought, on the far turn to sort of put yourself in position to get up in the stretch. And he just wasn't advancing. I was really worried at that point, and he just was basically a real flat, even effort throughout. But, what a race that he can improve upon, obviously. And, he wasn't the most dependable win type. He lost 5 straight starts before he won the Breeders' Cup Classic. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him bounce back with a real strong showing next time. But yeah, that was obviously disappointing from the champion 3-year-old male.
Any other closing thoughts from this 12-race card?
Yeah, you got to give Ethan West credit for Chunk of Gold. There's a horse who won his first 2 starts on the Topeta at Turfway Park. He ran a non-threatening second in the Rizza Star, and I was like, why don't you just go back to the Jeff Ruby at Turfway, win that race, get in the Derby, or run second or third? But no, he took the path of the more difficult path and went to Louisiana Derby. And Chunk of Gold responded with another big effort from off the pace. rallying for second. He's a real lightly raced type who may have a high ceiling, and his supporters are obviously going to be pleased moving forward with Chuck of Gold.
That's your recap for the Louisiana Derby Day card. And tomorrow is closing day at Fairgrounds, so stick with Twin Spires for coverage of that. And we will see you on the next stop on the road to the Kentucky Derby.